Hello, I am Umberto Bertesi with OHS TV Studio. Today I am here with Kevin Lay for my um, nice to meet you for
Very
my
nice to meet you.
local
Thank
legend
you.
spotlight. So, how are you today, Coach Lay?
I'm married. I'm doing great. Like I'm in sunny
Perfect.
Florida. I think it's a little cold outside. It's like 75 right now, and so it's a little chilly for us. But
Well,
other than that,
I'm used to
everything's
Celsius, but
great.
75 seems pretty high to me, at least for Owensville.
Yeah, it's an honor. Thank you so much for having me on here. This is really cool. Thank you.
Oh yeah, for me too. This is really cool for me too. So, I'm gonna ask you some questions, but it's gonna be more of like a conversation. I don't want it to be like an interview. I ask questions, you respond. I want to be like we converse. We try to talk. Not nothing really too professional. I would
Of
say.
course, of course.
So well, first of all, thank you again for joining me. And the first thing I would like to ask you is about your time when you were in Owensville. So first off, how was your experience in Owensville, and why did you decide to move to Florida?
We had an amazing experience in Owensville. We would simply call it as a just as it is. It's a blessing. It was just an incredible blessing, and we look back on our time in Owensville as a family. I look back on my time in Owensville with a lot of the things that I was able to do as just God was there with me, and He placed me in Owensville at the right time in my life, with my family's life. My children were born while we lived in
Oh
Owensville,
yeah. So
and
you're not from Owensville.
I am not. No,
Oh,
I am
okay. I
not
didn't
actually.
know that actually.
Yeah, Umberto, I was actually born in Southern California near Los
Oh,
Angeles,
okay.
and then I lived in St. Louis, and then I went to graduate school. I met my wife. We lived in a little town called Dixon, Missouri,
Okay.
and then we moved together to Owensville. And so we got involved. We got involved right away, and probably just as you've seen, Owensville is very welcoming.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many great people
Exactly.
there.
You know,
So many people that I love,
when I first
and I still love.
yeah, when I first knew I was gonna come here, Midwest, little town, I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I knew usually people in like little towns, even Italy, are more close-minded, but here I'm having a great experience, and everyone is so welcoming. So I'm really blessed to be here.
And isn't it crazy? Like you get the full experience. We've hosted students from other countries when we lived in Owensville. We're hosting one now from France,
Oh yeah, I've
and
heard that.
and the big differences that we've noticed. I mean, you've seen it, right? Like
Yeah,
on Friday
yeah,
nights, the football games, how big of a deal that is, or homecoming, or the dances. Like, isn't it really cool? Like,
yeah,
doesn't
absolutely.
Owensville do it really well?
Yeah, it's really crazy, honestly, and I'm just loving it.
Good.
So, you told me about your daughters. So they grew up here in Owensville. They went to this school, and so when did you move to Italy? And sorry, to Italy. When did you move to Florida?
Yes. So we moved to Florida right after the school. Like, you remember when all the schools shut down for
Yeah,
coronavirus?
yeah.
Um, we had announced the Christmas right before that we were going to make the
Okay.
move. So that would be 2020, I guess.
Hmm.
And then we moved. We moved that summer to Owensville, or excuse me, to Florida, and it wasn't, you know, it was just something that we've wanted to do for a very long time, and we prayed about it. We prayed about the move because there were so many wonderful things
Yeah,
in Owensville, and what we
yeah,
saw as a family, with my wife, with my daughter, and my son, what we saw was just an opportunity. And you don't get many opportunities in life, and your life is very short. And so we visited Florida almost every summer with family. And it was just something that we had in our hearts. We prayed, we asked God, God, if this isn't your plan, please just like shut doors, open them up for us. And then we started changing our mindset. It wasn't why we were, it wasn't things that we were wanting to leave from. It was more like, this is just something that are passionately pursuing.
Yeah, yeah,
We wanted to see it as a family, and the timing was perfect. And so we started listing things, right? Like things we're going to look forward to and things that we're going to miss. And as soon as we just started realizing like these are just wonderful memories that we'll have with us forever from Owensville, it just started giving us peace about the move, and we love it. We love it here. We love our move. We miss so many people in Owensville. I miss all my friends. I miss the people that I teach with, who are still there at OHS, and it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. But Florida, we've been wanting to do that for a while, and it was just the time. It was the time.
yeah. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it's very close to what I did. I mean, I knew I would miss my family, my friends, my country as a whole, but it's a little bit different because I know I will come back. It's a little bit different, but still, there are some things that I still had to decide, and I knew I was gonna miss some people and some things, but I'm very. But I understand your decision to move in a different place as I did.
Yeah.
So, why did you choose Florida? You say you love it, but like, why is that? What happened in
Um,
Florida?
yeah, a few reasons. Number one, the beach. We love the beach. So the beach is so much fun. We love the weather, and we have some family that are pretty close in Florida, and we visited. We always visited Florida. We would find our time next to the ocean as just some of our most memorable moments as a family. And so we thought, well, these don't have to be just, these just don't have to be like once a year. Let's try to live this life.
Yeah,
Let's see what we can do about living it. And much like you, probably, right? You've thought about going to the United States of America and staying there for a year, like
exactly. Yeah, that's
where you're like, okay, I'm going to do it right now. I got to make the decision. And so you probably had that moment too in your life, just like we probably did.
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I did. But you told me about your daughter. So when you moved to Florida, they were still in school, or they were older?
Yeah. So my daughter was born in 2006, and that's when we lived in Owensville. My son was born in 2011, and we also lived in Owensville as well. The great thing about having Kendra and Carter, Kendra is now a junior.
Hmm.
Carter is he's in fifth grade, and is he in fifth grade? Oh my gosh, yeah. So he's it doesn't matter. So he's like right getting into the middle school world. The great thing about it was we were having children, and it was in a small town, and so we had so many people that loved us, and we loved them. And so raising Kendra and raising Carter in that small town, especially Owensville, where so many, again, just so many wonderful and beautiful people live, was a tremendous blessing. We had people that loved and cared for them. My family lived in Owensville. Now they're starting to move here to Florida,
Oh,
which is
okay.
good.
Yeah.
And so we had a wonderful time. Kendra went to elementary school. She went to middle school, and in the year that we moved, she was actually becoming a freshman. And so she started her high school life right here in Florida. And Carter was finishing up elementary school at Owensville Elementary School.
Yeah.
The great thing is that they all had like wonderful teachers. I mean, we love their teachers. We love the school system, everything about the whole journey that they had. It was beautiful, and it was perfect. Like the timing was perfect.
Yeah, I know. So are they doing good in school? I know something about going to a new school. So how is it?
Yes, you do.
So are they doing good? Like they're finding the school there. as welcoming as it was for me and for them there here. Sorry.
And you came to a wonderful school.
Yeah.
When when Owensville had opened up their doors to foreign exchange students, we had so many foreign exchange students in Owensville, and every single one of them had just a piece of somebody's heart. Like they always left a piece of their heart in Owensville, and I'm sure you're experiencing that right now with
Yeah.
friendships,
Yeah.
with TV, right? With all of these great opportunities that you have that you may not have in Italy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I heard you were a coach and you
Yes.
coached Mr. T and also you coached with Mr. T. So tell me something about that experience.
Yeah, coaching was a big part of my life in Owensville. That's what I was. That was my name, Coach Lay, right? So that was my first name, Coach. My last name was Lay, and it was a wonderful and beautiful part of my life. I coached football, and we had great memories from football when we made it to the state championship game at the Dome in St. Louis. We had wonderful games in baseball when I was coaching with baseball. Either when I was an assistant or a head coach. Playing teams like beating Borgia, right, or beating like state ranked teams like Sullivan, like the first round or second round of districts. Like
I get
all of those were incredible. And Coach Airing, like Mr. Airing, was a big part of my life. Him and that group of young men that I was able to coach, I do my best to keep in touch with every single one of them, and I've told them how much I love them. I told them how much I care for them, but they'll never understand really the impact that they made on my life. And just to watch them grow, to watch them get married, to witness them finding the love of their life, to witness them have children, like that's a dream. That's a total dream to be able to watch these young men grow into grow into leaders, not just in their families, but in their community, and then share that experience with a wife and to share it with their children. So it was really cool. It was really cool coaching with Coach Airing, and it was really cool coaching him. But one of the best memories was just being able to resign and leave coaching, and then see Coach Airing take over and do some really cool
yeah.
things with the program. That
Yeah,
was really
I
neat.
get that. I mean, I can say I understand that feeling, but I'm sure that, I always, not always, but teaching is one of my, I wouldn't say future dreams, but something I would like to do if there, maybe some plans don't go exactly as I want. Teaching is always something I always thought about, and my mom is also a teacher, a middle school teacher, so she talks me about you know watching your students grow up, and I think
Yes.
that's one of the best parts of teaching.
It is. It absolutely is. Coaching, teaching, like I've witnessed students from every walk of life, and being a part of so many great things, not just coaching, right? But a big part of my life was robotics. A big part of my life was, watching students come in that were really good at marketing, that were really good at coding, that were really good at, engineering, and then just seeing them come together, right? And then watching young women and young men come together and be leaders, and then have two teams to go out and compete for robotics.
Yeah,
Like that was really cool. We had, wonderful experience with the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow competition that Owensville will always be known for, and that was, we traveled all over the nation to represent not just Owensville, but
yeah,
wonderful
yeah,
students. And um, and I'll tell you this, Umberto, one of the great things that I was able to do while I was in Owensville was youth group. Um, There was a lot of times when a lot of those students that I coached, that I taught, that were in robotics, that were in sports, that were just after school, I got to see them in church. I get to see them in youth group. And then I got to talk to them about meaningful things, like, um, things about things, that are really challenging, their spirit, their walk, their faith. So the experience that I had with Owensville Christian Church, and then AMP, the youth ministry, and then everything that broke off from there. Like, I mean, you could see how awesome, God was when I was in Owensville, to not just me, but to my wife, Mrs. Lay, and to Kendra and to Carter. It was just a big, wonderful journey that we had.
Yeah, about that. So I heard you're really involved in the Christian community here in Owensville and in the church in general. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with God and what and religion in general.
Yeah, and I love the questions. Thank you so much for asking that. My relationship with God is just that. It's a relationship, and I think it's there are times in my relationship where I have questions, and there's times in my relationship where I'm like, God, I just trust you right now. And the more and more that I talk with God, which I don't do nearly enough, I need to do more all the time. My I love to be able to tell people that it wasn't my intent to go into youth ministry. That wasn't, but God had a better plan for me. He had a purpose for me in my life. So getting to know students on a baseball field, that's wonderful. We could talk about meaningful things. Getting to know students in the classroom, that's wonderful. We can still talk about meaningful things. But when you're starting to talk to students about their relationship with God, when you start to talk to students about their salvation, about decisions that are going to affect eternity, what's going to happen after everything on earth is done, that's incredible. Like, that's really powerful. So I had wonderful leaders. I had wonderful leaders in the church. I had people who took a chance on me. Like, I didn't have any formal background training in ministry. And
Yeah.
so, I had wonderful leaders who took a chance on, just like this dork, so they took a chance on me. We ran with it. And by the grace of God, man, like, wonderful things happened. I would love to take credit for it, but I can't. Like, I had great sponsors. I had great people that surrounded me all the time. And I was just loved. Like, looking back on it, you can tell, like, God surrounded me with wonderful, wonderful people, because if it was just up to me, it would have been done. Like, I would have messed it up 1,000 times, which I did. But, God surrounded me with great and wonderful people and amazing kids, like kids who took charge, kids who were leaders, that did better and bigger things that I could ever imagine when I was in high school.
That's
So
great. And listen to you talking about that. It really makes me feel how you felt, and it really makes me understand that what you're saying is absolutely amazing and true. Your feelings are really true. That's what I feel. But
yeah, I give God all the credit. I mean, honestly, that's not just me saying it. Like, if it was, again, Umberto, if it was up to me, that wouldn't have happened. That would not have, that decision would have been made. But I surrendered, and just like you said, like, wonderful things happen, man. Like, you got these. Have you ever had like a really good idea, but then you stepped off to the side and then watched other people help you, and then it turned out to be way better than you even
yeah,
thought it could be?
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
what ministry was. That's what ministry was. I finally, like, got over myself and thought, oh, this isn't all about me. It doesn't all fall on my shoulders. Like, I need other people, and it became way better. So Owensville Christian Church, AMP, Coach, like, they all were a big, massive part of it.
That's really amazing. But talking about maybe something not so holy, I heard you like to blew up things when you were a physics teacher. You had this little this little passion.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I can
Oh,
not.
okay, okay.
I,
So
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. um, Yeah, we did. We like to blow things up. I mean, that's we like to blow things up. We like to launch them. And in our physics class, uh, we had great administration that supported it. You know, all the way down from you know, well, Mr. Altemeyer, who's there right now,
Yeah.
would you know, I don't know how many headaches I gave him. I don't know how many gray hairs are on the side of his head. My fault, but uh, on down, they all, you know, they were supportive, and I will forever be grateful for the chances that you know we were allowed to take with safety glasses and you know, all the stuff that we were able to do. I it came down to uh, a lot of research, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and you know, just like any other teacher would hopefully admit, it's as good as the students buy into it, but it's as good as the students like invest into it. So you can have a project, you can have a design, you can have this wonderful idea, but man, the students can make it so much better. And
Yeah.
they did. Like when we made when we made a Rube Goldberg machine one year, we it exploded. Like, and I never knew what a sparkler bomb was until I moved to Missouri and my students made one. And that was the goal. The goal was to light up a sparkler bomb. And and at the time the administrator came out and was like, was afraid that the propane tank had exploded.
Oh, it was
And I
so
thought,
bad.
no, 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 that's not what happened. Or when we launched pumpkins, like using the trebuchet, and they launched, you know, the distance of a football field, and kids were making them out of railroad ties or or you know, car frames. Like they they were doing so many really cool things. The hovercrafts, the go karts, the electromagnetic like accelerators, like all of those things that we did in class. It was really neat. And yes, we did maybe blow some stuff up sometimes. Yes.
But it's amazing because for a foreigner point of view, it's different the school here and the relationship with teachers. You know, in Italy, we don't have to experience this um, the same the same relationship that students here have with their teachers. We have a more, I would call it, a serious way of talking to the teachers, and I just find it almost as, you know, teachers here are almost friends. They want to help you, they want to make you enjoy this place, while in some other places like Italy, you come there to study, to learn, and it's okay. But I think that in the school there must be something else, and I think you gave that to your students.
I learned from some of the best ones, Umberto. Like, you know, I learned from wonderful teachers in front of me, and I taught with really incredible teachers. That, like, there's some incredible teachers that are still there at Owensville High
Yeah,
School that I learned a lot from. So, yeah, part of it is personality, part of it is the person, but the other part is who you work with, and also, you know, who is your administrator, who is, you know, who is the boss of you. And if they allow you to be the person that you are, if they allow you to take chances, then you can grow. And I love that. I love that you can grow and still make mistakes even as a teacher, right? Because you know, as a
yeah,
student, you want, as teachers, you want students to be able to do that and learn from it. But sometimes when you get older, like you think, oh, I can't make mistakes anymore, I can't make mistakes. Well, then you stop learning, you know, and then you stop growing. But man, when you got people that are above you that are allowing all of this to happen, it's wonderful.
mhm, yeah, yeah. I understand that, and I really think that you did a great job here. I haven't had the chance to meet you personally, but I think you did. But
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
talking about what we first were saying before about your experience in hosting, so how did you got introduced to hosting? Why did you decide to host a student from another country?
Mrs. Estes. That's who it started off with. Mrs.
Of
Estes,
course,
Amy
yeah.
Estes. And she was at the middle school at the time, and she always talked to Kendra, always talked to Kendra about it. And then Kendra would come home, right? And like she would go to the elementary school with like the gifted program that Kendra was in, and she talked to Kendra a little bit about it. And then Kendra would come home and ask, and she keep asking a little bit more and a little bit more. And then just like you and I have talked about before, we took a chance. We took a chance. Our first foreign exchange student was from Hamburg, Germany,
Mhm.
and it was Laura. And from that moment on, our hearts were in it, and we always wanted to. After that, we always try to find room in our family, and just room in our house for another students. And it's tough, Umberto. Like when you all leave, you know, you go back home, you go to your families, you go to your parents, you go to your brothers or sisters, your cousins, aunts and uncles, and grandmas and grandpas, and you know everything's great. But we hurt a little bit, like because
Yeah.
you take a little piece of our heart with you, and you know you've been with us, right? You've been with us for a year, um, and you know we've loved you just like you were a son or a daughter, and it's always tough. It's always tough, but we keep in touch with every one of them, just like they're our family because they are. They're really our family.
Well, I can say the same for me. I mean, when I leave, I still have a little piece of my heart here in
Yeah.
America. So it's it's tough, to leave something that you care so much. This is almost like a second life for me, and even if it was very short, it's been really incredible, and leaving it will be pretty painful.
Yeah.
But so you are very passionate, it seems to me, about hosting. So would you recommend it to others? And mostly, what did you learn from hosting other students to exchange cultures and traditions and all these things?
Yes.
What did hosting give to you?
Hosting opened up a part of our heart that we didn't know existed. I mean, we really don't. You know, you have for us and our family, you know, we have our two children that we love, that we give everything to. And sometimes when you just don't think you have any more to give, when you host a student, you bring them into your house, and you do. Like you do have more to give, and you do have more love in your heart. So I absolutely would recommend hosting students from a foreign country. Is it for everybody? I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I can tell you this: it's for people who may not think it's for them, and for those people who are, for people who are like kind of thinking about it or not doing it. You know, our family always asks, "Why not?" Just why not instead of why. So that changes our mindset. Why not do it? Let's just give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And I've heard, I've heard too many stories that ended up being great, more than I've heard stories about it not being great. For me to say, don't give it a try. So I would always recommend to somebody, open up your house, open up your heart, and open up your family to host a foreign exchange student. It'll change your life. It will change your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I love what you're saying. And actually, fun fact, because I don't know if you know, right now I'm with Amiestas, as you, I'm with her family, and actually she just, I think, just last hour, she was here for her local legend spotlight.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
good. She deserves it. That's awesome.
so same day. That's a fun fact.
We love Amy. We love her so much.
Yeah, yeah, we do. Okay, so talking about something more scholastic and to end, because I think we did a pretty good job today. So
Thank you. Yes, you're doing awesome. Thank you so
oh,
much.
thank
This
you.
is fun. This is really fun.
Yeah, for me too. So what advice would you give to a senior who is graduating this year and is going to start a new chapter of his life? their life.
Umberto, let me before I answer that, let me tell you if the bell rings, I'm going to mute it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
sure.
And then when the bell stops ringing, I will continue. But advice. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I would always tell a senior. And one of the top things that I would tell a senior is this: always seek out purpose in your life. Like, I believe that the good Lord has given each of us a purpose in life. We're not made to just wander this earth, aimlessly. We're not created to just not contribute to something very important in this world at the time we're on this earth. And so always seek out purpose in your life to be a kingdom worker. Like, and do that passionately. Like, passionately pursue what that purpose is in your life and have fun. Like, have fun on that journey, because you may find out that what you thought was your purpose in life, uh, it may be something different, but at least you have fun on that journey of trying to find out. Once you do that, once you do find that you do have purpose in life, then just serve. Like, just serve those around you, and watch your life grow. Like, be able to sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Enjoy becoming more than you could ever have thought you could become. And I love the fact that God gives us that ability. The other thing I would tell a senior is go explore. Like, go travel and find places that you've never been to. Go out and have fun. Go out and climb a mountain. Okay, maybe not Everest yet. Okay, but if you get a chance to go to Alaska, do it. If you get a chance to go to Antarctica, just give it a shot. Like, why not? So travel is a big deal, I think, not just for our family, but I think for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
you'll see you're in Owensville. You will see people in Owensville that may have never left the state of Missouri. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but I would still recommend to go and travel. Go to Europe. Go visit all the beautiful history in Europe. Like, America's very new, right? I mean, this country is pretty new compared to almost every country on earth, and there's so much history out there that you can see in person that just is not in a book. And that happens if you travel. Um, you know, so travel.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, traveling is one of the things I enjoy the most. I think that's why I'm here. I think so. Um, and I've talked to some people that even in my country, but also here, that told me, yeah, I never left Missouri, or I never left really Owensville, and they say, maybe sometimes they say, yeah, I don't feel the necessity to travel. I don't feel like going elsewhere. But for me, it's you're missing out. I think that if you would give it a shot, you would find something for you. You would find it amazing, and it would change you. That's absolutely.
It will. And listen, if you travel and you didn't, like, if you had if you didn't have a good time, okay, at least you tried.
Yeah,
You'll still have memories, and it won't be in the same area or the same place, right? You'll have memories in Rome. You'll have memories in Hamburg. You'll have memories in Burgos, Spain, right? You'll have memories everywhere, and I think it's just a blessing for people to be able to do that. And it does require a little bit of a commitment. Some people save money for things like cars, or a house addition and stuff. And again, those are all great things. Like, people can do that. That's wonderful. We try to save money so we can travel, because those are experiences that people can never
yeah,
take from us. And so, and that's what we love to do. I absolutely would encourage people, go and travel, have fun.
yeah, absolutely. I think every senior who is listening to this will think about that. I think that's a really good advice. Well, I think we did a good job today. So thank you again for participating, and thank you for being here with me. It's been really fun. So you wanna say something else? You wanna add something?
Yeah, I think, of all the experiences of everything that I had in Owensville, the best thing, the greatest has just been relationships. My life thrives on relationships. That's where my heart is at. And my heart is absolutely full with the love that I have with relationships with people. Your teacher there, Mr. Aaron, the wonderful teachers that are at Owensville High School, the administration. And I'm not talking about just at the high school. I'm talking about at the elementary school that poured into my daughter and my son. At the administration building, right? That's right across the street from Motomart. I think it's still there. You know, all of those, all of those people I built relationships with. And I will always be thankful to God for those. Whether I talk to someone once a year, whether it's on Facebook, whether I just give a thumbs up or a heart or whatever it is, like they all mean something to me. And so I'm very grateful for every single one of those. Work and build relationships, because whenever anything else, whenever everything else stops, you stop traveling, you stop going, you can't go anywhere. You can still have relationships. You can still have your heart full with all of that. And always everything you do, just seek out the goodness that God has placed right in front of us. I think that we do that, and we will find purpose, and we will find a lot of love in this life. So Umberto, you're awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
you're great at discussion. You're great.
Yeah, well, sometimes I still have some difficulties with English, but I try.
Your English is fantastic. Yeah, I mean it's great. I've hosted students that cheated, I think, a little bit on their English part. It doesn't sound like you did. It sounds like you did a really good job.
Thank
So
you.
good
Thank you
job,
very much.
Umberto. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for being here. And so this is Umberto again from TV Studio. Thank you, coach. I can't say it anymore, but thank you really.
It was a blessing. Thank you.
For me too. Well, have a nice day and have a nice life in Florida. And if you wanna come here sometimes, just tell Coach Herring, and I'll try to meet with you in person.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Umberto. I appreciate it.
Thank you again. Have a good day.
You too.